Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
A General Hospital fan podcast. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Amanda, it's our 100th episode.
That blows my mind.
It's crazy. I mean, in a couple weeks, we're going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
Yay.
I know we've talked about this, that we thought this was just going to be something fun we did for a little bit, but you guys like it.
Which is awesome. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what we thought would be fun is we actually partnered with another podcast, Hot Flashes and Cool Topics. You might remember we shared their commercial a couple weeks ago. And it turns out one of the hosts is also crazy about General Hospital.
She was super crazy in a good way.
Yes.
But when we first said we were going to talk to them, I thought, oh, okay, they'll share a couple stories. They had so many stories.
So many. So our actual interview
went a little bit longer.
Was over 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So we know that this episode is definitely longer than what we typically have, but it's really, really good. And you definitely want to make sure that you listen through the whole thing because we have a really big surprise giveaway.
I'm so excited.
At the end.
I think we should be able to win the prize because I want it for myself.
Well, we can't.
I know, but it's not fair.
Maybe one day we will have it ourselves.
That would be awesome.
So we hope that you enjoy hearing from, it's Colleen and Karen. They've been best friends for 20-something years. Fans of General Hospital. They've gone to Super Soap Weekend, Fan Club Weekend.
They've done everything.
They have. You get to hear some stuff. Colleen lives in Nashville and maybe has run into someone who used to live in Nashville and other people who still do.
I was very impressed with how calm and collected she seemed as she was retelling those stories because I feel like I would totally fangirl out and be like, can I get your coffee? Here, can I help you? Do you need something?
Right. Like, let me get that.
Good job for respecting people's space.
Yes.
I don't know that I'd be that good.
So here's our conversation. We hope you enjoy. So hi, ladies.
Hi.
So today we're just chatting with our friends, Colleen and Karen. Colleen is half of the co-host of Hot Flashes and Cool Topics podcast. Karen, have you ever guest starred on her podcast?
She just did yesterday. It was
okay. That episode will be coming up?
Yes, it will be coming up. It's about making friends over 50.
Oh.
So we taped actually a YouTube and a podcast at the same time.
Okay.
She will be the guest on that one.
One of two guests, but it was fun. It was fun.
No, that's a great topic because I think that, and we've talked about this, it's hard for moms to make friends, anything. So Karen, are you aware of the Nina-Ava friendship forming?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We love it.
Yes.
And
it has a very interesting dynamic to it.
Yeah. And one of the most commented things is we're so glad Ava's getting a friend, Nina's getting a friend because instead of a love interest, so.
Yeah. Because you hated Ava for so long that now you see her in a different light and you're like, oh, maybe she's not so bad.
Yeah.
And Nina needs something to hold on to or they're going to let her go,
No, we can't. She's finally grown into her.
And I really like the recast also. I really like her.
It took us a while.
Yeah, it took
to get
me a while.
used to it. But I mean, Michelle Stafford was just amazing. But I think as soon as Cynthia Waters made it her own.
I like her. She's good. Different spin on it. Different. Like I would have never seen Michelle Stafford with Jax.
Really? Even after she went gaga over him at the nurses' ball?
I did see that. Did you?
I could see it, yeah.
Different opinions.
We like to disagree.
That happens a lot here.
All the time. It keeps it fun. There's certain matches that I'm like, no, and she likes and vice versa. Certain characters that.
See, I really like the Alexis and what was her name? The attorney? Caroline?
Diane.
Oh, Diane. I liked
so
that
wonderful.
friendship. That friendship was awesome.
Well, they reminded them of
us.
Kind of.
And when we would meet them, we were like, you guys are us. kids and
So you actually met them and told them that?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
met a couple of times. Yes.
And you met them at the Super Soap weekend?
Yes. So we
At
had
the fan weekend.
at the family. Yeah. What happens is we started going to Super Soap Weekend when it was in Orlando, and it was all the ABC shows. So we went for several years, and then they decided to change it over to California. So when they switched it to California, they would do a luncheon with everyone, but then each individual actor would have an event. So you might meet Alexis at Nancy's event. She might have one or two guests that would come with her.
In fact, Michelle Stafford came to her.
Yes, that's right. That's when we met her.
Before she was on General Hospital.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
She actually had
They were friends.
Maxie and a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
that
she
night.
did have a lot of people.
And so you would have a chance to talk to them and take pictures with them. And they would do like a 30-minute chat, question and answer for each actor. So sometimes you met them together, sometimes you met them separately.
Okay. And is that what is now the General Hospital Convention?
No, that was
Oh,
the
is that
fan
right?
club weekend. No, they have a convention also. And
They
from
do
what
have
I
fan club
understand,
weekend
they're
is-
kind of at odds.
Yeah.
They are very protective of their weekend. Like the rules are strict, and they, you know, they kept moving locations, but
Yes.
the actual format was always pretty much the same.
Okay.
And it was very strict in how you were allowed to talk to them, when you were allowed to talk to
Yeah.
them, who was doing an event.
Certain actor, it depended on the actor. Like when you went to see Maurice Bernard, it was no phones, no photos. They would let you know when it was time to take photos, when he was done speaking. And I believe somebody actually got pulled out one time when we were there because they took out their phone. And
then other people were
and
like,
other people,
I
you don't care. They don't care.
You know, like,
Right.
like Dante would be like,
Oh
my
my God.
Florida girls are here. You know what I mean? Like he would actually recognize us every year and he'd be like, how are the kids? And he would show us pictures of his kids. And at the time he was two, now he was 3.
Yeah.
He was amazing. And he was very down to earth and very sweet. And so when you meet them in person, it's, I don't know, have you met some of them in person yet?
We've met a couple. We've done interviews with a few too.
It's weird, isn't it? Because some characters that you don't like on TV, all of a sudden you like as a person.
Oh gosh.
But then some people that you really liked as a character, and you meet them and you're like,
Well, that was
not so
Stefan.
much.
I forget the actor's name, but the one who played Stefan a million years ago.
Right.
When we were in Orlando at Super Soap,
Funny.
and we were at a Q&A, and he was there and somebody in the audience is like, it's my birthday. And he went over and did this dramatic happy birthday singing to her. He was hysterical. He was so
Really
much fun.
It was Stephen Nichols played Stefan. I'm like, it's
Yes.
something.
We are so bad with names.
Oh yeah. I'm like, the guy, the blonde with the thing.
I'm good with the name. She's not.
I'm awful with
Oh,
them.
good. Okay, so we'll just talk to you, Amanda.
No, but that's great to hear. So we've gone to the Stone Cold and Jackal comedy tour.
I went to that.
Oh, did you?
I went a few months ago when they were in Miami.
They have a party.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're very fun. Now, little story on Steve Burton is that first off, she's in love with him, and like she climbs him like a tree every time we see him. I think he's going to get like a restraining order against her because
But I can't speak.
She gets like a high school senior, like it's her crush, and she's just like. And if you know Karen is never for a loss for words. Like she can talk to anybody, but for some reason Steve Burton, she can't talk to. So the last year that he was on before he took his break, he had mentioned that he was moving to Tennessee. And we didn't think anything of it because we both lived in Florida. We were just sad he was leaving.
Excuse me.
Well, fast forward 2 years later, I didn't know that when I moved to Nashville, I moved into the exact neighborhood he lives in. And what are the chances of that?
Oh.
So
It gets better.
I go to the coffee shop to get a coffee in the morning, and there's Steve Burton with his daughter. Now it's Father's Day. It's a Sunday morning. I don't want to bother him, but I know I can't leave without getting a picture for Karen. So instead of putting my phone on silent, I just kind of like angled it while I was drinking my coffee, and I clicked real quick, and his daughter turns to him and goes, Dad, you know that lady just took a picture of you, right? And I was like, I didn't want to interrupt like your father's daughter bonding. As soon as she found out he lived in my neighborhood, she was coming up trying to find his house, trying to find where
No
he
luck, but I did try.
I ran into him at Target.
She sees him all the time.
And then he moved back.
And then he left.
So but it was very funny. I was like, what are the chances that Scott Reeves that lives down the street from me. Steve Burton was in my neighborhood.
But Steve, if you're listening, Karen would love to have a beer one day.
It would be a very
Call me.
short, it would be a very quiet conversation.
Like, I just want to sit there and look at you for a little while.
Yeah.
That's how I was with Patrick.
She was the
I
was the Jason Thompson
I
fan.
loved Jason Thompson until
Yeah.
I liked him, and then I kind of met him, and the crush was over. Sometimes you meet him, not so good.
Can't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, sorry, we digress.
No, that's Bradford was actually the first one that we interviewed. And that kind of happened by accident.
Oh, really?
My husband was being supportive, so thankful.
Like the choice of words.
Because it could have gone the absolute wrong way. And he emailed them and said, my wife and her friend have a General Hospital fan podcast. They're going to your show. Would you talk to them?
Wow.
Right? And we actually record on his computer. And his email happened to be up when I went to, and I saw Bradford, and I was like, what did you do?
Oh,
I was so
gosh.
mad because, that could have gone
Very
the wrong way.
Yes.
So we go to the show, we bought them some gifts. I was like, I have this planned out, how we're going to do this. And we were the last ones to do the meet and greet, and we're giving them our stuff. And so we have shirts that say, meet us at the pier, or meet me at the pier.
Cute.
And Pier 54 podcast on the back. Because that's how we sign off every episode is we'll meet you at the pier. And Bradford, I think, said,
noticed the shirts.
he was like, wait, did one of your husbands email us? And I'm standing there like,
oh my God.
deer in headlights. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get kicked out. We're going to get banned. We're going to get a restraining order against us. And he's like, no. He's like, don't be mad at him. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. He's like, we can do like a 15-minute Skype. And
oh my gosh.
it took us a little while to get back and forth with him, but we wound up doing like a half-hour Skype, and he was our first interview. I think it was in August. We had a little interview with him.
Cool.
That's great.
That's
See, you
awesome.
never, sometimes you just have to ask.
Yeah.
You
You
can
gotta
be
say
very
yes.
gracious at times.
Yep. Well, and then Sean Kanan wrote that book, or co-wrote that book, Success Factor X, and he had a book signing in Pittsburgh. Well, he mistakenly scheduled it on a Steelers Sunday.
Oh.
But it was also my birthday weekend, so that's what I wanted to do. I was the only one there. I felt so bad, but I got a half hour of one-on-one time with him.
Nice.
And then he agreed to talk with us, and I think we spoke with him in November.
Oh, I feel bad that no one else showed up.
Yeah. But good for her.
It's Steelers Sunday, though. I mean, the world stops in Pittsburgh on Steelers Sunday. So
I believe it.
it's
So at least
funny.
you could keep saying, oh, if you hadn't planned it.
he said it first. He's like, if I had known the Steelers were playing, I wouldn't have scheduled this.
One time when we were in the California fan club weekend, and Bradford was there, and I went up and I was talking. It was like, Mike, you wait in line to talk to them. And I went up and it was my turn. And at the time, my son was a senior in college and was looking to go into musical theater. So I was asking Bradford for his suggestions for colleges, his opinions of NYU and Emerson and all. And he was giving me play-by-play recommendations. Try this, don't try that. This is what this would do. We had the best conversation about like real life
He's
stuff.
always been really nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he's always been really nice.
That was years ago. My son is now out of
Out of
college,
college.
2.5 years.
Aww. Did he
That's
take
happening.
Bradford's advice?
Yes. Yeah. He was really helpful.
He's
talked
one of the
about
nice,
auditioning
honestly,
and
I
whatever.
think he's one of the nicest ones on
Oh
the
yeah,
show.
he's lovely.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a weird thing because they're all kind of, when you do the weekend, they're all kind of lined up at tables.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just trying to get through as many, because they only have like a 2-hour time frame
Yeah.
if they're there. So you're just trying to get through, and some of them don't want anything to do with you. It's just, what do you want me to sign? And some of them are like, how are you?
Yeah.
Where are you from? What are you doing? And some of them actually recognize us. which is really-
Lucy would go on and on and on.
Oh
and on
yeah,
and on.
Lucy was, she was very sweet.
She was funny. She'd
So Lynn
sit-
Herring's exactly like her character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She loved talking about the AIDS balls from years ago. So we had a great conversation about
Yeah.
all the AIDS benefits that they filmed. So yeah, I mean, they're all really nice. I mean, meeting Helena for me, I was like,
When she was on last week, oh my gosh. I'm like,
love her. And she's stunning in real
Oh,
life.
yes.
Stunning.
Yes.
And I said to her,
Such a lady.
like, you can't, I was like, what do you do? And I used to be a Pilates instructor. So I was like, what do you do to stay in shape? And she's like, I do Pilates. I was like, I get to look like you. Oh my God. So we chatted for like 10 minutes about Pilates, and she's just stunning to look at. She really is. She's just a beautiful woman.
One time when we were at the Orlando Super Soap weekend, they had a big gathering. I think it was the guys, like the guys from all the hot guys from all the soaps. And when I would go in Disney, they give you a button when it's your birthday and it says, today's my birthday. So I would wear it, although the function took place the beginning of November and my birthday's the end of December, I would wear the button every single day.
I like you.
In the hopes of getting noticed.
Like, look at me. And we went into this hot guys function and I'm like, well, it's my birthday. I want to sit in the front. And they were like, okay, come
They
to
give
the
us
front.
front row seats because of that.
So she and I are sitting in the front. Now, Colleen would like to be in, she would hope her superpower is invisibility.
To be noticed. I hate it. It's just not.
And here's me with my button. Look at me. So they start talking about Pilates. That's what reminded me of that story.
To kill you that
And
day.
somebody said something about doing Pilates, one of all my children actors. And Jason Thompson said, oh yeah, something about he does Pilates or something like that. And I go, she's a Pilates instructor.
At the top of her lungs, the entire audience
Everybody
stops.
kind of turned their
Camera goes to me. And I have this look on my face like, what did she just do?
And we were probably 5 feet away. I thought it was hysterical.
I wanted to crawl under the chair. I wanted to kill her and then crawl under the chair. But it's just fun. I mean, they just know that all of you are huge fans of the soap opera, and that most people know the history. They've been watching for a decade or more, and they appreciate the fact that,
I think that's a good word. They're very appreciative that everyone's there. And we were at a Port Chuck concert during fan club weekend in California. And this is when Ronnie and Dominic were first on the show.
Right.
And they were kind of in the background by the bar. And I always, when I go to these events, I always look for the bathrooms, because eventually they're going to have to go to the bathroom.
You look for that, not for you. I was thinking,
Pointer, eventually they go to the bathroom.
That is true.
I met Maurice and his father that way at another function. You weren't there. I was alone. Again, I go alone. I don't care. And
she finds a way.
So anyway, so Ronnie and Dominic went to the bar. I went, we're going to the bar. And we went and we stood there and the concert was going on in the room and we must have chatted with them for a good half hour.
Yeah.
They were just new on the show. We were the Florida girls and we just chatted and it was fun.
So we highly recommend going to whatever event you can.
Yeah, whatever you can get to.
Because once they hear that you have a podcast about General Hospital, that you're going to be like bees to a honey.
Oh, I would think so.
They're just going to right on to you.
Yeah, because we handed out a lot of cards at Stone Cold and the Jackal show.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrific. Where did you guys see it?
In Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. And when was it? Recently or?
May? Last May?
So it's a while ago.
So what gave you guys the idea to start a podcast about General Hospital?
I've been talking the whole time. It's her turn. Guess who's shyer?
You and Amanda and I. There you go, man.
See? We were girls were in Girl Scouts together, and one day she just happened to say something about General Hospital, and I was like, oh, wait, you watch General Hospital? That's my favorite show. And so for years we tossed the idea back and forth of we need to do something with this, like, would text back and forth about whatever happened and all that kind of stuff.
Have our own discussions about what should be happening.
Yes, exactly.
We do a lot too.
And then I
joined
a dating site, and one of the people that they matched me up with looked just like Spinelli. And so I texted to her at night and I was like, oh my God, I think I need to go out with this guy just because he looks exactly like Spinelli. And so then that got the ball rolling again. Like, we really need to do something with this because we just talk about it all the time. And first what brought us up was the name, and then you came up with it.
Yeah, it was. So my husband has a wrestling podcast, so that's where
wow.
we were like, we could do that, because we think we're funny. And
We have heard your podcast.
Yes,
You are funny.
yes.
thank you.
Very
Thank
enjoyable
you.
to listen to.
And
The name.
oh yeah, the name. And we just kept like going back and forth because we don't want to worry about anything being copyrighted or anything like that. And I was at the gym, and out of nowhere, I was like, the pier, everyone talks down at the pier.
Yes, that's true.
Excellent point.
Or falls in the water and allegedly dies in the pier.
Yes. Yes. And then comes back, you know?
It's like a fountain pier.
Yeah, pretty much. They allege, or they're just, and it's funny because we sat on the pier when we did the tour.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and you can see how they do the fake water, and we were sitting there with Jason Thompson chatting, sitting on the edge of the pier, and I'm like, oh my God, how many people have died falling off this pier? Right? How many people have died on this pier? This is great. And
Well, that's when we told Bradford the name of our podcast. He's like, where everyone dies? And I'm like, no. But yeah, and then I listened to other podcasts too, and I really like the idea of doing the weekly recap and then also having something informational that, I mean, how many people start watching the show and they're like, what is going on? I don't know this person. So we started just by doing different family backgrounds, and it's grown into that's when like we'll release this, but we just had like a different name. And then I tasked your daughter with it.
Yeah.
And she helped come up with the Port Charles 411.
Wow.
So
that's
figured-
smart.
Yeah, that is very smart.
So many, and there aren't that many soap operas left.
no, and
Sadly.
we need to keep them.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Definitely. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
That's we
Yeah, but
went
like
to-
this,
when they
Well-
were supposedly going to end it, when the General Hospital was saying, "Oh, this is going to be our last year," we're like, "Oh, we have to go. We have to go to fan club weekend." I was telling my husband, "I have to go this year because it's going to be the last one," and that was 5 years.
And
ago?
you've been divorced. They, you know, it's when they got rid of All My Children and One Life to Live, it was a bummer. We didn't really watch them too much, but you got to see everybody in one shot, which
Yeah.
was nice. And you know, when you tour the set, it's right in front of Grey's Anatomy, which is cool too. So
Okay.
it used to be Grey's.
I
No,
don't
Grey's
watch it.
Anatomy
I
is
don't
still
watch
there.
it. I don't know.
But it's really cool. You walk in and they have a huge warehouse. So what they do is the night before, they change all the sets in the warehouse. There's always the hospital set up, but everybody's homes, like if they're taping at Elizabeth's home, they'll set it up the night before. And all of the sets are put together that night and then taken down, and a new set is put up for the next day. So it's just one big, huge warehouse. And we were actually there time when Sam was, I think Jason had been kidnapped yet again, and she was serving him.
Yeah. Well, this is the
And
shootout.
the shootout. And they were like, "Here,
Another one.
yeah, exactly. And put your earpieces in because we're going to shoot guns off." And I'm like, in a warehouse? Like, isn't that going to echo a lot? And yes, it did. We were deaf for like a good 20 minutes. But then when we got into the hospital set, because that's the permanent set, we decided there was a break in between. So we decided we were going to play a little bit, which we got yelled at for it, but whatever. So I was laying on the gurney and she was trying to race me into the elevator to take me to like another floor. And they're like, "Get off the gurney." I said, okay. So then we're like, fine, enough fun. And then we started, you know how they have the files next to the phone? So we started opening the files and trying to write like little jokes. So when they were trying to film something, eventually they would open it and like laugh at what it was. We didn't get caught for that. I wonder if it ever worked.
It might still be there.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. But like just silly things like that. And it's really fun. Like it's just an interesting way to see the, police interrogation room is there one day, and then the next day it's somebody else's house, and it's Sunny's house or something like that. So it's interesting the way they set it up. That's
It's
my
fun. Yeah, it's true.
shtick for that. And I think we went on 2 tours.
Mm-hmm.
Did 2 tours, and then they stopped doing them.
Oh, they did? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
They stopped doing them after that. I guess our
Thanks,
hospital.
guys.
Maybe they did find it. Maybe they did find it. Sorry, everybody out there.
So,
What,
and
do
they
you remember what episode you got to watch being taped?
So yes, we taped Jason, and we were there when Jason and Robin broke up, when he announced that he had the affair. Okay.
Yes.
So when he
it was about a month
slept
out.
with, what was her name?
Oh, jeez.
Okay, he never had a girlfriend, but then all of a sudden he had this college girlfriend, and she showed up.
I
She
can't
was
remember
crazy.
what her name was.
She was like a stalker. She
Yeah,
kidnapped
she was
Robin.
nuts.
I don't know.
Oh,
No, she was a doctor, and she was supposed to be this great like
Yes.
orthopedist or something. And he ended up having Rob goes to Africa, otherwise known as like doing her director stuff, and he sleeps with her while she's in Africa.
Yes.
And then
Remember who she
she
was?
comes back and she kidnaps Emma. And what was her name?
I'm Googling.
Okay,
Going on
so anyway,
now.
so the big scene was when Patrick admitted he had slept with her. We happened to be there for that
Yes.
scene. And we thought, oh, they're going to take so many takes of this because it's an emotional, like, oh God, he admit. They did it in like two scenes. It was really,
it moves
moved
fast.
very
The taping
quickly.
moves fast, and we're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, you have
because
to
they tape a
sign.
month out. You have to sign your life away.
Yeah. So
Not that who originally.
That's
Well, we
what
could have
bothered
told them.
me.
That was
Lisa Niles.
right.
Lisa Niles. There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh, you're good.
And
Wikipedia.
she,
Who
yeah,
did Patrick sleep with?
a lot of people would come up on that one. So it was that Elizabeth was having something. So it was her setup was there. Dante was being interrogated.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, watching him film. And Dominic, if you're listening, please come back.
Right.
When his just normal speaking, like every other word is a curse word. But it's not even offensive. It's just how he speaks.
It's just
It's
funny.
hysterical. So they'll rehearse the scene and then they tape the scene. They rehearse, at least then. I don't know what they do now. Rehearse, tape.
Very
So
fast.
they would rehearse the scene and he'd be cursing throughout it. And why the F did you say that? And they're laughing. And then tape the scene and he's fine. And it's, how did you do that?
How do you not drop a bomb?
It was fabulous watching him tape. And even his appearances, they kind of put a PG rating on his appearances because that's just how he spoke.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely
Lovely.
hysterical. He is a fun interview.
Yeah, now we have to talk to him.
Yep. We'll work on interviewing him. We have someone who's currently scheduled for tomorrow.
Ooh,
And
can you share?
Off air. No, can you share?
You can edit
It's
it out.
Taggart.
Ooh, Taggart.
Oh, yeah. When he came back on, I was like, wait. And I'm like going through the Rolodex in my head. And I'm going, who is he? Who is he? And they said his name. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He seems like a fun guy too.
Yeah, he seems like he would be.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
He definitely does, though.
And it's interesting because like when we would go for the weekend, sometimes one time Sunny had been in a film and they did a screening.
Oh, that was terrific.
And we got to see the film and then we got to be there for the questions and answers after. So that was fun. And all
They
the
did a talk
stars,
back.
like they had a red carpet and all the stars came, like not stars being General Hospital stars came to support him.
Yeah. Oh, Finola Hughes was there.
That's right. Yeah.
She's so tiny. She's
Like
even
a
tinier
strong
now.
gust
My
of
Lord.
wind. She'd go flying right away. But she's really nice. I thought she was really nice.
Elevator.
Never mind.
Anyway.
Karen was known for when we were in Super Soap Weekend in Orlando, we would stay at the same hotel they did. So, which wasn't hard. There's only like 3 or 4. Okay, I made
She'd
sure.
figure out which one it was.
It's not hard. There were 3 or 4
Oh,
hotels.
that's another whole story we could tell.
Yeah, well, that I don't think.
How to stalk soap stars.
Yeah, and
101.
She has no problem walking up to them with a pen because she's like, "I'm never going to meet you again. You don't care about like what
I
I
don't know who
say."
I am. I only know who you are.
So she was known to jump into elevators when they were getting in an elevator and the doors would be closing, and she would just wait till like that last second, and her arm would ching, and she'd jump right in, leaving me on the first floor wherever we were, but jumping right in the elevator and chatting.
Bradford,
with
I
him.
did that too. He was so sweet.
He was.
He's just sweet.
He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. But you got to see them kind of off camera. Yes, they were nice during the interviews, but when they were in the hotel, they were either drinking at the bar. There's a couple we saw.
Rebecca Budig, we saw one time having a little spat with her then husband.
The Bachelor guy.
That was like,
They were on the pier yelling at each other.
and then we would see them around the pool. Where were we that we saw them sitting around the pool?
The boardwalk, I think.
And they're all so skinny, those girls.
Oh no, we were in Hollywood for that. Studio City at the hotel.
Oh, is that where we were?
Yeah.
And they just came and were just sitting around the pool. And nobody bothered. Like, if they're doing that, I'll give you your space. I'm not going to harass you when you're socializing. But they were just so skinny. Oh.
Yeah. Strong gust of wind.
Gorgeous.
Nancy's
They're all
normal.
gorgeous. Yeah, Nancy's normal. Nancy's fun.
She's very funny, very opinionated, not afraid to speak her mind, which I totally
Right.
respect, and a very interesting person to listen to during her 30-minute chats. So definitely highly recommend if you can get a chance to talk
Nancy's
to her.
fun.
And she'd have her daughter like perform with her band and things like that. So you definitely get to see like other aspects. Either if they're a family person, you get to see that they're, their family. Because a lot of them would bring their kids to swim in the pool while they did the shows and stuff.
Carly, what's her name? Carly.
Laura Wright.
Thank you. Laura Wright.
Laura.
Yes.
She would often have her family there. Her kids would be there. Gorgeous kids.
Probably adults.
And she's a lot of fun too.
She's a riot.
She
had a winery with her ex-husband, and she would set up a wine tasting at her
I still have the
events.
t-shirt from her winery.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Standing Sun. I think I don't know if she still has it, but I still have the t-shirt.
She was
fun.
super nice. She had just gotten her
She's
Emmy.
one of the most fun.
Remember,
people.
she brought her Emmy?
Yes,
she
she did.
Just gotten her Emmy.
And you were allowed to take a picture with
her and the Emmy.
Aww.
So, I mean, they really try to make it interactive, and that makes you want to watch the show even more because now you feel like you are personally invested because you know them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. So if you can go in May, go. We highly
Save your
recommend.
Pepsi bottles, as my father used to say.
Because we want to do all of it. We want to do May. But then Amanda has 4 kids. I have 2.
Kids every time.
Kids
Kids
in the way.
We would be like,
Gosh.
we're just going to do a girls trip every year. And this is how we did it.
Yeah.
We would, so it was like July, August. And we would say to our husbands, okay, or significant others, next year we're going on a girls trip. And we would start putting money away every month. So whether it was like $20 a month or whatever, we would put money in she had gotten me for Christmas General Hospital savings little zipper bag. And we would literally, I wouldn't let her touch it because she would spend it.
Had to give it to her.
So by the time February,
Yep, you would have it.
see, by the time February or March rolled around, we had enough to buy the plane tickets.
Then when they opened the hotels, when they started
sold
releasing
out
everything
so fast. I don't know if they still do, but back then you had to be on the phone at 9 a.m. just to get a room for the group rate.
Probably because I just got an email about it the other day.
Yes, and they mean it when they say it's going to sell out.
They're not just
they
saying
mean
that.
it. Yeah, so definitely, and if you want to be in the same hotel, it just makes life a lot easier. Because if you're going from one event to another event, which she hates missing events, so we had to go.
I have to do everything. I'm one of those people.
Like Jonathan
Well,
Jackson.
I had to go to see Steve.
Oh, Jonathan Jackson.
I had to go watch Steve breathe.
So Jonathan Jackson, who ended up living here for Nashville, because we're in Nashville. And so I saw him at a book signing one time. But when we were there, he's so lovely and he's so sweet, but he's so soft spoken.
Yeah.
We were right up like next to him and we couldn't hear a thing he was saying. And we were just like, I kept going, Karen, don't fall asleep. Karen, don't fall asleep. Because you would sit there and you're like, he's got this calming, like I imagine his kids want him to talk before they go to bed. He just has this calming, sweet,
he was sweet
voice. But yeah, I mean, most people were just great.
And who was the African-American guy that was on? Sean. He was super sweet.
He was very nice.
Super
we saw
sweet.
Him at
was it in California?
Yeah, but also I think we saw him at the movie screening, didn't we?
Oh yeah. He super sweet.
Amanda, guess what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for me to pick out my FabFitFun selections.
Oh my gosh, you were so excited with the last box. What are you going to get this time?
I love FabFitFun. Seriously, I've been using it for over a year. And at first I was like, do I really want to, spend money on that? Yes.
I know how excited
you get
you
over
were.
$200 worth of products for only $49.99, and it's once a quarter.
That's not bad at all.
No, not at all. One of the items that I'm getting in my spring box is a light therapy anti-wrinkle light. That I've seen them listed other places for well over $100, and that's going to be included in my box. They also have robes, different lotions, sprays. There's a really cute umbrella on there. Tons of things for you to pick out.
You're making me want one.
You could go to our website, pure54podcast.com, and just go under the savings tab and click the get offer button under the FabFitFun. Make sure to use promo code Rainbow and you get $10 off your first box.
That's a deal.
It's amazing. So Go check out our website, peer54podcast.com, and make sure to use promo code RAINBOW for $10 off your first box. And you're going to love it.
Sweet guy.
I ended up on the
He's
cover
funny.
of Soap Opera Digest one year. And I did, for the internet one, first year I went, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go with you, but you're not going to tell anybody we did this, okay? Because it's just embarrassing to say we stalked fans and we stalked stars. And now I could care less. But it was the first year. I ended up on the cover of the Flippin' magazine, taking a picture with.
I can't remember. He's on
he
Bold and
was-
the Beautiful now.
Yeah, he was in love with Lulu. And he
Blonde.
was
Dylan.
Oh, he was what's her name's son? Quartermain's.
Dylan.
Yes, yes,
Clifton.
Dylan and I ended up on
He's
the cover
so
of the
cute.
magazine, and I looked at her like I never go. And that's when I was like, it is what it is. It's just fun when you let go and you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
I mean, we could go on forever.
Yeah, but we won't bore you forever. But
No, I love it.
Are we supposed to talk about this week?
No.
okay, good, because it's like you get the best of both worlds, especially for you guys, because you get to have fun and bond together, but you also love everything about the show. So you are kind of in sync with it. Like we would go to Rodeo Drive and walk around and have fun, and then we go back and see an event. So we got the best of having a weekend. Oh, we would go from like Thursday to Sunday.
We went for a
long
while.
weekend, and just tell our husbands, this is a girls' weekend. We do it every year, and that's how we did
We
it.
did. And, it
And
was
we
fun.
saw everybody, and we did everything.
Yeah, you
and-
pick and choose whom you want to see. But we always went to the main cast event. That was
the
so
luncheon.
much fun.
But it was so dumb because they would charge a fortune, not a fortune, but it was probably $120 a ticket back then.
yeah, it wasn't cheap.
And you had to sit through a lunch before the stars came. And you're like, I just want to see them. I don't care about this lunch. You would sit at a table with
the
people
food,
you
the food
never
wasn't
met.
good.
The
I
food
think
is-
we ate before we went in.
Yeah, we did. Except for the bacon. You love bacon.
I love bacon. That's a whole nother show.
And then Mac would come up. Mac was always
He
he would come with
best.
like these like floral baggy
Oh, yes.
pants and a big yellow neon shirt, and he would be the MC.
He was fabulous.
Hysterical. He was so funny and just appreciative of still being on the show after all those years, and just would make jokes about how he wasn't on enough, and so, and we got to see like the original Edward Quartermain before he died. And 50th event we saw, gosh, so many of the older ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the past cast.
Yeah, the past cast. I saw one of my favorites was Stone. I loved the Robin and Stone storyline. It was right around, I think I was having my first child right around when he was dying. So when I saw him, I was like, I was in labor during the time you were dying. He's like, okay, I've never heard that one before. I'm like, I was really upset. Like, you made me sad while I was in labor because you were dying. And my daughter was born in October, and they killed him off in December because I remember they did like
Oh
an
my
early.
gosh, how do you remember that?
Because my daughter was born in October. Because I was in labor.
Oh, right, Jordan. Okay.
Yeah, my oldest. And he looks exactly the same. And then Bobby, we were a little afraid. She's lovely, lovely, but she had the most fabulous shoes on. I remember saying to her, your shoes are fabulous.
Oh, but Elizabeth, what's her name?
I don't know.
The
Rebecca
one.
Herbst.
Yes, she is the most stunning woman in person. The most flawless
Flawless.
skin to where she looks like a porcelain doll.
She does.
Absolutely.
And that's all I could think of when I
unbelievable.
walked up to her. I'm like, Karen's right. Your skin is
Like,
fantastic.
you've gotta see it. I want to know what you do. I asked her. She's like, oh, I just got lucky.
Oh, that's such a lie.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, she's foundationally, I'm sure she was born with a lot of luck, but she does something with it. And she had just had her third kid, I think.
Yeah, did she? Yeah.
And her husband was
there.
off the show, but he would always come
He would come.
and charge to see him. I'm like, you're not on the show anymore. Why would I
Yeah.
pay to see you? I'll pay to see her.
Oh, the one who played the bad guy a while back. Who?
That's vague.
I know, right? Sorry about that.
That one bad guy. I know.
But he charged at the event to take a picture with him. I don't remember. Victor. It was a
Victor Cassidy?
Was
Victor,
it?
wasn't Valentine.
Wasn't Valentine? No, it was way before Valentine. But there was at the event there because everybody, you just get in their line and you meet them, they sign something, you take the picture. But this particular actor, he was an older man.
I don't remember.
One of the older Cassidines that they had brought back, or I can't remember his name, but then we were like, oh, can we take a picture? Oh, well, you have to pay. We were like, what? I'd never seen that before. And he never was
And
there.
they
again.
That's typical at like Comic-Con and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
you have
really?
to pay, yeah.
Oh, I never
Oh,
did.
no.
You pay a ticket to get into the events, but then if you want to take a picture with the person, they each have a price.
Oh,
Oh,
my.
no.
That's
not
ridiculous.
nice.
That's not okay. That's
Or
not
an autograph is like another price.
Wow. They do usually, they'll limit you to like one piece. So like we'll sign one thing.
right. And they used to have photos, like back in the
Yeah.
when we originally went, they had pictures of them, their headshots, and they would sign them for us. But like some of them have side jobs. So
Right.
Lulu, for example, who is
Oh, her
lovely.
jewelry.
She is such a talented, she knits, she
Mhm.
had scarves and bracelets.
And she had bracelets. I still have her bracelet.
And oh, what was his name? He's the photographer.
Oh, her
Her ex-husband.
real life.
No, not Lulu's
real
ex,
life.
but Maxie's
Max,
ex-husband.
yeah, Maxie's.
And she,
Oh, Brandon Barash.
Yes.
okay.
I
So
should remember
the-
that.
the
My
one-
honey is Brandon.
one year, yeah, really,
I should remember that.
woman.
Gorgeous.
Brandon, she was pregnant and she hadn't announced it to anybody. She hadn't announced that they were married and she hadn't announced
Right.
that they were pregnant yet. So she showed up to his event with a ring on her finger and a little belly, and we were all could care less what he had to say, and we're all like, "Excuse me, are you pregnant? Because you look married and pregnant." And the year before, he had brought who was someone
Another
different.
blonde. The
The
love,
love of his life. Yeah, he had said, "I want you all to meet the love of my life." And then the next year, he was married and pregnant with Maxie, who was very nice. She's
She's
a
nice.
skin
He
queen.
is too.
Yeah.
But tell
But
about
okay,
the
so
photography.
he's a photographer, and he brings all of his work to the show, and you can buy his pictures.
Stunning.
So
Does he still live here?
no, he never moved. They had a plan to move here, and then they got divorced.
Ooh, okay.
So
Touchy subject.
unbeknownst to me, they were frequent visitors to Steve Burton's house. I didn't know this. So I know, I'm sorry. So I was looking at his photos, and he had this gorgeous black and white picture, and I'm like, I know that. Like, I don't know where that is, but I know it. And it ended up being in the city or in the little town next to ours where we live. And I'm like, it's called Leaper's Fork. I'm like, is that Leaper's Fork? And he's like, yeah, we have a dream that, Maxie, I forget her real name. And Kirsten and I are going to move to where you live in 10 years with our child, and we're going to live there. So I love taking pictures. So I bought the picture because it had a double story of one, it was him, and two, it was right where I lived. And then they got divorced. So
Did you throw it away?
no, I haven't.
Oh.
It's right.
I didn't know how personal you took it.
No, I didn't take it that personally. I was sad because I liked them together.
I did like them together.
On and off screen, they're very, very sweet.
I would
You
like
watch them on Instagram. They seem to co-parent really, really well.
That's
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, they do, and the little girl looks just like her.
I would
she's
love for
a
him
little
to come
miniature
back.
girl. Yeah. Well, we have this thing. They love to leave, and they always come
Oh, yeah.
back. Steve was like, all he talked about.
Did you see Steve's movie? Did you ever see Steve's movie?
No, and I keep meaning the Last Castle.
Yes.
What was the name of it?
Yes.
You have good memory.
Oh.
I listen to their podcast too, and he talks about it not frequently, but like it's been mentioned.
His last interview before he moved to Tennessee was all about how he wanted his children to be raised in an environment where they could be outside riding bikes. He did not want to raise them in Hollywood. He wanted them to have a normal upbringing, and he was so thrilled to be moving to Tennessee. They lasted one winter. We're not even that bad of a winter.
It's snowing.
Yeah, but it's not
Oh,
bad. It's
okay.
like 40. It's not like you're living in Alaska, They lasted one winter, and then they moved back to Hollywood. So I was like, well, you talked about how wonderful you wanted to raise your
He
kids.
can change his mind. Leave him alone.
Nice.
I think he said something about like it was the commute because he had to be flying out
right.
to take.
Well,
So much that it had
you
changed.
know that before you get into it. I mean, come on. You have to.
They should have just bought him a plane.
Well, I think when
like
he.
Beyonce.
Wow, you really think that is.
Love Steve, but I don't think the ABC has Beyonce budget.
Just to get
For Steve, they should.
Well, you would buy him a plane if you could, and then you'd fly you would get your
I
pilot's
would. I'd go on
license.
YouTube.
She was ready to move here the day she found out we lived here. But no, I forgot what. See, now you
It
made me
doesn't matter,
forget.
Steve.
I know Steve. When he moved here, he switched over to Young and the Restless. So I think he had a better schedule. So maybe he was here 2 years. he had a better schedule, and then he went back to GH, and that might have been why they needed him more than Young and the Restless did.
I needed him more. He was terrible on Young and the Restless.
I never watched.
No.
No, I don't watch that.
I didn't.
Young and the Restless.
Neither did I.
I
No.
tried.
Do you watch
only
any
for
other
Steve.
soaps?
No, we barely
No.
have time for that. Now that I have this podcast, I barely have time to like watch anything.
I used to watch One Life to Live also until that went off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of the guy, the attorney guy who used to be on All My Children.
Oh, Martin Gray. Or
You're good.
that's his character's name, though.
You have like a list in front of you. Where you
No, he doesn't. That's the sad part.
Does that drive you crazy, Amanda?
It does.
Okay,
It does.
we're always like that one.
I'm like, the guy.
Well, that's his character
What
name, and
is
right now
he
his
gonna
real
be
name is
up
escaping
to?
me. Michael something.
Oh, now, we caught her. Don't you dare pull up Wikipedia. Don't do it. Come on, watch your phone. Don't let her do it.
Wait, did we change characters? Who are we
No,
talking
no,
about?
she's-
Michael E. Knight. Michael E. Knight.
Michael E. Knight. Yes.
I like him.
She said Knight.
I did.
Isn't,
Yes.
Wait, isn't he married to the woman on The View who does View Your Deal? I think he's married to View Your Deal. Now I got
To
to look it up.
Tori? No.
I think he is.
Oh wait, View Your Deal. I'm thinking
Yeah,
of DMA deals.
No. I'm talking about The View.
Oh, anyway.
Anyway, you tell your story while I look it up.
What is that guy going to be up to on the show? I cannot figure out the connection of all these random people and him in the center. I'm
don't
looking
know.
forward to that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're finally using him more, because it's
Yes.
great that they brought him. We both like that they didn't just bring him in and now he's here, and take over. But
For me, there's too much going on right now.
my brain's exploding.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about anything from this week.
Nothing specific, but just in
Yeah.
general. There's too many little storylines going on.
This one with the white hair?
Yeah. him.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a different person.
Oh, sorry.
He's married to Catherine Strickland, who was on the soap opera too. She was on.
Anyway.
All right, so I
That has
I'm
nothing to
just
do with
giving you
this.
information.
Okay, thank you.
See, Catherine Hickland, not Strickland. Hickland.
Anyway.
He's another one whose skincare I would like to know what he uses. He has not aged since
Yeah.
One Life to Live at all.
A lot of these guys look amazing.
He was on All My Children to begin with,
Yeah.
though, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he was like one of the heartthrobs on All My Children.
Yep.
And you'll notice, like at the events, the new characters, you'll see a line a mile long for
yeah.
Sunny, but the new characters will have like 3 people in the line.
Yeah.
So go to those lines because they'll chat, like they're trying to build a fan base.
Sure.
So they'll, you
Yeah,
know,
that's a good point.
they'll build up.
Because
they'll talk
next
to
year
you.
their line's going to be impossible to get in.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly. So we tried to
Because
find that.
that's like the guy Finn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your
Michael
boyfriend.
Easton.
For a while.
Oh, look at the blush.
Oh,
She loves him.
But for a
I
while,
love that.
he didn't come to easy.
You do. You legit love him.
That's her Steve.
I am convinced that
You have to take a video when she finally meets him.
I will. I will have to.
I'm convinced that my husband started wearing vests because Finn does.
Oh no.
I don't know. And I've loved all of his characters. So, I mean, it's legit him.
I always call him the vampire. I'm like, the vampire.
And I think so my husband's like, who's he playing now?
Right.
And I'm like, no, we're still a doctor.
Because that's all they do.
Like the original Carly then became, not
Oh,
the original
God.
Carly,
Yeah,
like
Claudia.
the third or fourth Carly
Right.
comes back as somebody else.
And nobody says anything.
Well, because it's
Okay.
our answer is always because it's in the script. Well,
Yeah.
why did they do that? Because it's in the script. They didn't have a choice. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it was in the script.
We at least know that McBain, Starr, and Todd Manning all left because One Life to Live sued.
Right.
Mhm.
They
Their
couldn't
characters.
cross
So
over.
that's the only one that we actually have an answer to.
Yeah, did hear that, but I still call him Todd. When I
Yeah,
was,
I know.
I'm like, and
Todd.
Todd, and
She was catching me up because I'm a little behind, and she was like, Todd. Like, I knew exactly what she was talking. I'm like, okay. That's, you two, I'm sure, have your own language too, where you're just like, oh yeah, I know that. Okay,
Mhm.
absolutely. And then just move on from
but
there.
he, Finn, what's his name?
Michael Easton.
Michael. Sorry, he
He was new when we went to see.
He used to not do appearances though. He would not
He
be
did
there.
1 year.
But now it's like he
The
seems
first
to be at
year
all
he
of them.
came on the show, he was there, and he did not have a huge line.
No.
And then the next year they were like
Yeah,
screaming
then you
over
couldn't get
him.
near it.
He seems very shy and timid.
And that's my impression also.
He's not on social media.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Not that you stalk,
not with that
not
name
that you
anyway.
stalk him or anything.
No.
Not
He
at
calls
all.
himself Sally Smith on
Right.
social media.
Done. Joe Schmo, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's fun to meet them. It's a weird feeling when you first see them all in one room, because you're like, oh my God,
Yeah, you don't know where to
they're
look.
all real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're real,
Yeah.
but they're all sitting there chatting, and you're like, I get to talk to all of them. Who do I go to first?
And shorter than expected.
Short. All of the
That's
men on the show, except for Patrick, was tall,
He was tall, and Ingo's tall.
and Ingo's tall, but everybody else,
Ramsey's
like,
really tall.
but the rest are all short. Sunny short.
Oh,
Dante was
okay.
short.
Steve, mute for a second. So when I had
Edit Steve's
I had
side.
like I had heels on. We went to his event, and I just had like
We always went there.
slides on, platforms, nothing special. And I go to take my picture with him, my hug picture.
No, her
And-
climb Steve like a tree picture. is
And
what
I
saw.
had to kick them off
Because
to
he was
take a picture. I'm not tall, I'm 5'6". I had to kick them off to take a picture with him, because otherwise I was taller than him. And I didn't want to be taller than him.
And it's funny because, they go, okay, he'll talk to you for like 5 seconds, take a picture, and the next person moves on.
Not me.
Well, Karen kept him much longer, which was fine because, it's your one chance to see the person.
Well,
you
and
really
he had
like.
told us he
was leaving.
he wouldn't officially announce it.
You kept saying you're leaving, and he's
And,
like,
yeah.
well,
And I'm like, I go, but you're leaving. And he goes, I haven't said that. I haven't said I'm leaving.
and then he nodded
And I
his
go,
head.
well, let's put it this way. My son's going to college next year, and I won't be able to afford to come next summer. So since I won't be seeing you for a few years, can I have a hug picture? And he said yes.
And she wouldn't let go. So it was like, next person in
It was
line.
like,
And
peel
Karen was like,
off.
next person. I'm like, Karen, get off of him.
Security came. No, I'm not kidding.
No, but I wouldn't have been surprised. I think they were ready to call him.
And
And
he
she
went
just-
off the show. How weird.
And then he went back on.
Then he went back.
See, I actually have a story. It just reminded me about like first impressions, because the first time, it was my second time seeing the Stone Cold and Jackal show. The first time she wasn't able to go, and I just went by myself. I was like, no, I'm going to go.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
so, you line up in the lobby, and you get your hug and everything. And Steve seemed like a little annoyed. And I was kind of like, oh man,
Right. It's like,
then
no,
when we interviewed Bradford, and we were talking about how we loved the show, and I mentioned that I had loved the show the first time I went, he's like, we had so many technical difficulties that night. He's like, we thought you guys hated it. So I think that they were bummed. And so I might have picked up on that from
Probably.
him.
They're probably frustrated. You know how technical it can get sometimes.
Yeah.
And when we went for the tour, they took us to the costume area to show,
Oh,
okay,
right.
this is what so-and-so wears the most. This is what, and when you get to Jason's, it's just a row of black t-shirts and jeans.
It was funny.
That's it. It was just, and she was like, do you think I could grab one? Do you think anybody would notice if I tried to grab one? I'm like, you are not getting us kicked out of here. You're stealing a Steve Burton t-shirt, okay? But it was just a row of black t-shirts and jeans. That was it. And leather jackets.
Yeah, their costume
and
room
leather
is
jackets.
amazing.
Yeah, the makeup room was amazing. The costume room was
I work
amazing.
in theater at a school at home. So and that's the stuff that I do, the costuming, hair and makeup. And so I just was in heaven when I saw all this. It's like, look at your costume room.
She was like taking all the pictures. But it was fun.
And one thing that's real fun about meeting them also is they make fun of the same stuff that you're making fun of on the show.
And she'll be like, why did you do that? And they're like, we don't know. It was the dumbest thing they made. It was hard for us to get it through it without laughing. It would just seem, and what's frustrating is, you watch the show in sequence. So they don't know, they're not watching the other taping. They have no idea what the other
and they tape out of order.
are doing. So if you're trying to talk about a storyline, they have no clue if it doesn't involve them, what their storylines are.
Yeah, I don't think any of them say they watch it.
No.
William DeVry does.
Does he?
Oh, does he?
Yep.
He's a really nice guy.
He was at Nancy Lee Grant's event.
We saw him a lot. He was really, he's
funny.
another one that'll sit and chat.
He would come on the show, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because he said something on Twitter, and we asked, do you actually watch the show, or do you only know your storylines? He's like, no, I watch it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. A lot of them only know their own storylines. And they don't even know what's outside the script. Like they
Mhm.
don't even try to imagine what they were doing before they came on the show or what
Yeah, they don't like.
they just
no
go in there.
history.
Some love the show, some just go in there for their job. You know what I mean? It's their job and that's what they're going to do. And they're not going to put any extra oomph into it. Some of them really follow, like Nancy Legrand is very invested in the show.
Yeah.
She's
But William DeVry,
yeah, he was very,
he likes
Let's
to
reach
he
out
likes
to
to
him.
talk. He was talking about anything. He's just a nice person.
but anyway, so that's our stories. If you can get to go, because you really do. People are so invested. You find a ton of people who are like you. You're like, oh my God, you know more about the show than we do, you know, which.
And even if the only thing you can go to is the main event, I think they call it the main
Yeah,
event.
they call it the main
With
event.
everybody, then that's worth it. And if
Worth
you
it.
get into something else, fine. If you can't, you'll still see them walking by.
Mhm.
They got to go to the bathroom.
See, I don't know if you can see behind, but like one year we got this blanket of all Port Charles places.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Well, obviously you can't see it online in the audio, but this has like, and the piers on here.
That's a drawing though. Like I've seen the drawing.
Really?
Yeah. We
I
went
think
Through it.
that.
Is it signed?
No, I think I
Oh
bought
my
it.
gosh.
I have it here.
I
We
see.
both have it, and then
You bought that at the fan weekend?
at the event. And then every year you could buy like a bag, and you run out of things to have them signed.
When was this
So
from?
I had this-
2014.
Yeah, 2014 was probably the last year I went. So we have all of like
On the back of that, it had a character named Victor something. Who is it?
Victor Cassadine.
Victor Cassadine.
But his actor name's on the top above it.
Jack Axelrod.
Yes.
Was that him?
That
Yep,
was him.
That was him. And he didn't charge me to sign this. So there you go.
Yeah, it was for a picture you had to pay for.
And like we just had so much and then you would buy a t-shirt every year. So we didn't need pictures of people. So every year we would just have them sign the
year is that
t-shirts.
Oh, there's no year on that one.
I don't know. I put it all in one case because otherwise I would look. This one's
Where's your General Hospital one? That I
Fan
gave
Club
you?
Weekend from Kelly and Ronnie Marmo and Carolyn Hennessy. Yeah, and it's just fun. So you can just get them to sign stuff because really, how many pictures of people can you have? You know?
Right.
And
The
you
Googles.
actually, yours is a business
fun,
expense.
right.
So there you go.
Oh, so you can write it off.
It's a business expense.
Well, they're going to
for
get
you go.
sponsored. There you go.
We actually went to, it was in Studio City, and across from the hotel was a Starbucks. And she's a huge Starbucks addict, as am I. And we went across the street, and her Starbucks barista from Florida had moved to California, and he was working
Uh-huh.
as
No.
a barista.
Yep, Fernando.
You remember? And
He's
so
a nice guy.
he would give us free Starbucks every morning,
Yeah.
allegedly. And we would go over there, get our free Starbucks, and start the day. What are
He's the first
chances?
one who told me about Waze.
Oh,
That was when I first started. That's when we
allegedly knew some people's houses.
That's when we went to the movie premiere
right.
because we needed to figure out how to get to wherever we got
Got
to
to the movie
see
premiere.
his movie premiere. Something about a whale. Is it about a whale?
Yeah, it was about a whale. Was he? His wife was the director. I think.
Yeah, she's also lovely.
Yes.
Maurice Bernard's wife.
Maurice Bernard's wife and his daughter. We met his parents.
Oh,
we met
yeah.
his daughter. A lot of times the whole family will come, and his whole family was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know. Do you have questions for us about the
We
events?
just are rambling.
Yeah, we're just telling stories. You can cut it.
No, it's all good. Yeah.
Do you have questions about the events or anything specific?
Or your all-time favorite characters.
There.
Oh, our all-time favorite characters.
Steve.
Well, yeah, that's an easy one for you. I would probably say Anna. I love Anna. Yeah, and I loved back in the day when it was Robert and Anna, and then
Mhm.
Luke and Anna, and then Luke, Robert, and Anna, and then they went to the island, and then
Sonny Alexis, I always thought was funny. When Sonny and Alexis were together, I just thought they were hysterical, the dynamic that they had. I liked that pairing. I
Luke and
liked
Laura.
watching Robin grow up.
Yes,
I think that
Robin's
was
one of my
neat.
favorites. I mean, when she got diagnosed, that was right when Stone died, and I was pregnant. I might have been more emotional because I was 9 months pregnant, but I thought it was a great. There are certain scripts and storylines that just stay with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the Robin Stone stayed with me.
Well, the one who Hart.
Oh, the heart
BJ.
transplant. Bobby and the bus accident. Bobby's daughter, and they did the heart transplant.
Yep.
I can still picture
Georgie.
Brad Mall with his head on her chest when she was dying. Oh gosh.
Yep.
See, don't cry. Don't make her cry. What are your favorite storylines?
My favorite was Karen and Jagger.
Okay. Oh, that was a good one too.
That was. That's my
got
favorite.
on the back of the motorcycle and they drove off.
And that was good because that was when Sunny and what was her name?
Let's bring John Stamos back.
Okay.
Yes.
Works for me. It was Sunny and what's her name?
Cher.
Not Sunny.
Oh no.
We're going that far back. When Sunny and what's her
Brenda?
name? Vanessa Marcel.
Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
Were
I
like
did
together.
like her on the show.
Yeah, like they were together, and Jagger and Stone. They were all like that was a good time.
Yeah.
Where I thought they really sometimes they just lose their minds in the storylines, and you're like, or they repeat it so many times. You're like, just insert different character to that storyline.
Right.
You know,
That's what we've been talking a lot about. Like right now feels just like the 90s.
When I
The
said
90s
they
were
had that
fantastic.
that big shoot 'em up
Explosion.
scene everywhere a couple
was
weeks
good.
ago, I guess it was. I texted her, I'm like, this is the way it used to be.
right?
Yep.
Because sometimes you're like, who are these people and why are they? And then you kind of fall back into, well, I love the Cassadines, I love the Spencers, and Cassadine, Spencers, and what's the third family? The Webbers. Well, I'm saying those are like the staple
Yeah, they
groups
are.
that started. They should always have
Mhm.
some character that brings that back.
But Brenda, I wouldn't mind seeing Brenda come back. I don't know what they do with her.
We're hoping that, because unfortunately we know Mike is going to at some point
Yeah.
pass. They were really close. So
That's a good
That's a good
point.
idea.
we're like, will she come back for the funeral? And Lois, because he was really close with Lois too.
I loved that Ned and Lois.
Yeah. Well, and
Yes.
recently when the daughter when Brooklyn went to visit him and he thought she was Lois.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that's a little foreshadowing.
She
there.
was on a different soap opera for a while though. I don't know if she's still on.
I think she still is, but I don't know for sure.
Well, she can come for a day.
Yeah.
I don't think they're allowed to. I think when they go to a different when they go
They
to
can, because Tristan Rogers is on too. And so
Okay.
is Wally Kurth.
Yes.
They're both on too.
some of them, like when they switch NBC, CBS, ABC, they're not allowed to cross
Right.
back
I guess it depends on how.
what their contract says.
Yeah.
So it's all in the contract. You know,
They
And
might
you
get a
know,
special, like
They
Right.
like how Jonathan Jackson came back for one day just to say goodbye to Luke.
Right.
Oh, right.
Oh, speaking of that, I was saying how when Laura was just shot and she was in the hospital and that whole thing, nobody can even say, oh, we talked to Lucky and we let
Right,
him know, but
exactly.
he can't
Lucky
come
really
back.
wants to be here, but
We let Luke know, but he can't come back. Finally, recently, maybe, they mentioned Luke's name again. I was like, oh, okay, he does still exist in your minds.
well, one of the annoying things that we we were told, we figured it out, is that, you have a different writer for Monday, different writer for
Right.
Tuesday, different writer for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They don't always, they don't talk to each other. So, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. It's not in the history. Like Luke has a child. From
Oh my
where?
gosh.
Anna has a child. He wasn't even in that part of the world during that time frame.
Right.
But it's in the script. We always go back to because it's in the script. But they don't always interact with each other, and they don't always know the history of characters. And I think they should really work on that, because you want it to make sense if you're a long-term watcher.
Yeah.
If you know the history, you're like, that just doesn't make sense.
Like, and we can forgive them for the random, because I mean, Lucky should not logistically be, Nicholas should not be here. Lucky is, you're absolutely right. Like, there's so many times that we offer our services as consultants to them on our podcast. We're like, we are available for this, because especially, even if they're going to stretch it, we know what's viable.
Right.
Like what we're going to accept, and it's like this whole Anna being Peter's mom. No, come on.
Boy.
Know that he's Alex's. Can we just?
Yeah.
Get to the point.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can we just bring that back, wrap it up in a bow, and move on?
Well, that's what we had said to them. Do you have like groups, focus groups, where you throw a storyline out and see if it, because that's what they should do. Okay, you've watched GH for more than 10 years. Do you think this will pass the laugh test? But sometimes it doesn't pass the laugh test. Another storyline I loved was Elizabeth and Lucky when she first got raped, and
Oh,
that was so
good. That
well
was
written
done
and
very
so well
well.
acted.
Yes.
I wish they would not that they would bring rape scene back, but they would bring back that kind of writing
Yeah.
that was really emotional and you connected with. Because sometimes they try for comedy and it's.
I swear, I think some days are just like, okay, this is like an off day. This is just a day to catch you up. We're going to repeat everything we've said for the past few days, and we're just going to catch you up. And especially with the kids, I guess you have to have teenagers on because you're trying to get that audience.
Well, especially in the summer.
But my gosh, those are my fast forward moments. I don't care. Exactly. But I don't.
I've been dragging it out lately.
Yeah, it's like, let's get to the point.
And you have to love when like they're 3 and then they're 10 and then they go away to summer camp and they come back and they're 17.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, guys, I'm okay with aging a little bit. But when you do that soap opera, what is it called? Rapid aging syndrome. That's what they call SORAS. It's just dumb. It's like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden they're older than another person who was on the show that was born years before them.
Yeah. We just talked about this because Joss is 11. Cam is 15. But remember when Cam, Spencer, and Emma were in the love triangle? Yes. But now Spencer and Emma have stayed their age, but Cam is aged up, and so is Joss. So, like, it's gross.
Yeah. And Jocelyn was born after Emma.
Yes.
So she should be a lot younger than Emma.
Yeah. She should be 11, not 16.
If you're going to age them all. Send them all away to boarding school or sleepaway camp or something and bring them all back the same age. Because sometimes when they do the college stuff, it's interesting. I like the college stuff. I don't like the high school stuff, but you know, like you were saying with Jagger and all that, when they were all in high school or college together and they were
maybe because we were younger, we liked it. I don't know.
Maybe. I just have no patience now with it.
No. And I just need a storyline to move. I don't have time to sit there and watch nonsense. Just let's move along.
It felt like it was doing that for a while.
Yeah, it dragged for a while. And I think they do themselves a disservice because I think people start to tune out.
Right. Or fast forward.
Because
I think they told us you have to in order to get credit, people have to watch the first 7 minutes. You know, because everybody tapes it now. And in order for them to get credit in the Nielsen ratings,
and within a week,
you have to watch it within a certain amount of time and the first 7 minutes. So a lot of times it's chock filled in the first 7 minutes because they want people to watch, and then it kind of drags after that.
Well, I'm assuming all the interesting stuff that's going on right now is for February sweeps.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
You know, that's my guess. And then when they started with this Cyrus, is that his name? The new mafia guy? And
the one in prison.
And they brought him up, and I'm like, I'm going through my head. I'm Cyrus. I don't remember that. I don't remember this. But then I guess he's a new character because Sunny didn't seem to know who he was either. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes.
But we're not allowed to talk.
I think he's either Brando or Dustin's dad.
Oh. Yeah, Dustin's up to something. He's not just.
Oh, yeah, he's so shady.
No one's ever just.
And plus, he has this background with Brooklyn. So,
do you like the Brooklyn?
I do like her. I do like her.
Do you guys like the Brooklyn?
Yeah.
She's feisty.
We think that they're going to do how Kesha just went through all that stuff in real life. We think that's what they're going to wind up doing with Brooklyn.
Oh, that would be a good storyline.
Have her sue the crap out of him. And
like she sued him and then she wrote the album and what is that song that she wrote?
Don't know. But that I hadn't thought about that. That is a good parallel.
That's where
it's got to go somewhere, and I just need it to end.
Right.
I'm like, we get it. You can't get out of your contract. Let's go to the solution because we know it's not going to end there. So.
Yeah. And it seems like it's a big week this week, so it'll be fun to watch. We're not going to talk about it, but it's a big week. Big week on General Hospital. People, watch it.
It is.
But anyway. You both look like you want to. Okay.
You're looking at me. Asking questions. We're good.
Over to you.
I don't have to talk as much as you do. It's okay. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't have a question.
It's not the Shannon show. I forgot what I was just gonna say. No, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and hearing from been, like to the different events and everything, it's great. So
yeah, if you could
Yeah.
go, get somebody sponsor them to go. Come on now, people.
Yeah.
They're going to have great
It's
stories
an
to
expensive
share.
trip. They need to go to everything.
Yeah, and they're going to have great stories to share on their podcast after, because you'll worm your way into things that you shouldn't be in to begin with. And that's
we did that.
Yeah, of course we did. We didn't have a podcast back then.
No, we didn't. But we did. We
would have been the
way,
original ones. We would have handed it over to you guys.
We wormed our way into the cocktail hour.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Oh.
We Ronnie was there, and we were talking with him, and he was walking in, and we just walked in with him.
We were like his handlers.
There you go.
And then we walked away, and he was like, wait, and we're like, bye.
We're like, you served your purpose. Thank you. Bye.
And we talk the same way that you do. Like, yeah, we have frustrations, there's things that annoy us, and not everything's perfect, but, and that's what we try to do with the podcast too, is even when we're frustrated with things, because I mean, you have your experiences, but you didn't badmouth the actors or the characters or anything like that,
And everybody's personalities are different. You can't expect a person's who's an actor to be like that in real life. Sometimes they're funnier, sometimes they're more serious, sometimes they're much more animated than they are.
Maurice is the same.
Maurice is exactly the same.
And he will say
what you see.
He'll be speaking and he'll stop and he'll go, okay, I'm turning back into Sunny. Let me go back to Maurice. He's aware of it.
Yeah, no, there's a very fine line between the two of them. Well, I can't even say the two of them. It's one person, but the character and the man. So,
yeah.
But
it is fun.
And I know we talked about, we haven't decided on what our big giveaway should be, but we're going to do a joint giveaway. Should I talk about that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So we've gone many, many years to the show, as we've spent the last hour telling you. And one of the years, I think it was 2010, I got a script signed by everyone. And if you want, I'll put it up in front of you so that you can at least take a picture or something.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay, so it's been signed by like everyone. And we are going to do a giveaway with your show and our show, Hot Flashes, Cool Topics. Full script.
What script is it? Do you know what?
I would have to go back and read it, but it's what year is it? It's 2010, and
it has the air date
was March 18th, 2010. So Ethan, and it shows like Alexis, Christina, Kiefer, remember Kiefer?
Oh, wow.
Sunny, Lulu, Sam, Ethan.
Steve signed it.
Yeah, no, you have your own.
I do.
Oh, and then Maurice signed it on his own page.
Oh.
And so what we thought was Hot Flashes and Cool Topics and Pier 54 would do something really, really cool. We haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but someone will win this script. That's right.
That's very cool.
I'm going to
that's
share
super
it
cool.
because it just needs to be used more than I'm using. Like, I want someone to enjoy it, And this came from a tour. So they actually signed it all while we were doing the tour, which was great.
Okay.
And maybe people will have some suggestions what they think. It's got to be big, guys. It's signed by like 50 cast members, and you don't just find these scripts anywhere. So hopefully we'll chat and we'll figure out something really, really cool for your listeners and our listeners to do. Yep. And someone will win that script and we will send it to them. Stop touching. You're going to get your fingerprints all over it.
No,
so we're now going to read it. We'll read every line. But we'll
So we did do the promo swap with you, but do you want to give a little plug for your podcast? Because we really enjoy it.
Thank you. And I'm going to put your promo up this week.
Okay.
Because I figured it made more sense to do it. We're going to be a guest on your show. Here's the promo. Take a listen. So our podcast is called Hot Flashes and Cool Topics. My partner Bridget and I started just last September, and it's taken off like insane. And it's for women in midlife and beyond. So we talk about everything from empty nesting to changing your careers to menopause and perimenopause, which starts in your 40s. So there you go. And really our audience is 40 to 70 and anybody in between. We have some great guests coming on. We're taping an interview with Ada Calhoun, who's a New York Times bestselling author of Why We Can't Sleep. She's on the New York Times list right now. She's coming on. We have some great doctors and we have a lawyer coming on to talk about estate plan, divorces for people who they call them silver divorces, actually. And we have another lawyer coming on to talk about estate planning. I have a psychic coming on. I have a nutritionist coming on. So we have, and we try to do what you guys do, which is one episode is conversational. So we just talk about our own personal experiences. Like this week was about perimenopause and menopause and our own personal experiences with it. And yes, you will get there eventually. After 4 kids, I'm sure you're ready to just flip the switch and be like, and we learned a lot that I wasn't even aware of. And then we'll do an episode, an interview. So we try to change it. One episode to conversation, like we just taped a conversation with Karen about friendship. And the next one will be interviewing either an author or a doctor or somebody really cool or someone who's gone through some unique experiences in midlife. So we've been having a great time doing it. It's been fun. So
It's fun to listen to. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's very entertaining. I love it.
Thank you. You know, one of the things we get a lot is my partner is from Kentucky and I'm from Jersey. So we have very distinct accents and it's very easy to follow which one of us is talking at the same time. So, and I'm more the pragmatic, let's go ABC, and she's more, let me tell you a story about da, 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 da. But she's good at kind of getting me to tell stories and I'm good at kind of directing her off the story path. So we enjoy it. So thank you for asking.
It's fun. No problem.
Yes, and it's every Wednesdays. We have every Wednesday. We
have
so much fun, guys.
Hospital. I mean,
I hope you guys get to go. I really do.
And we'll bring it up. I'll bring it up in my show. Sponsor these girls to go to this.
I've got no one to tell, but I really hope you get to go.
She's just going to wear a t-shirt.
Yeah, well, I don't have it with me. It's at home. But it's like a Port Charles grocery store, whatever it's called. But they sold a reusable bag. And I have that. And they have on Amazon, I've seen.
I know Wyndham's department store, but I don't know the grocery store.
I don't remember grocery store. I think you make this. You sure not talking about like where they all eat lunch?
No.
Is it Wyndham's department store?
No, it wasn't. It's it's a grocery store. I don't know. I'll send a picture.
You make that up.
Okay.
Bags at home.
I don't remember. I mean, but yeah, they usually they'll have certain merchandise that you can buy, like t-shirts and stuff, but because there was fun stuff there that
keychains. I always bought the keychain, you know, a coffee mug. Well, they will give
t-shirts.
They gave us a coffee mug every year.
Yes, you got at the luncheon. You get a
Oh, cool.
But like, there were so many.
I'm not gonna pictures are coming out.
I'm not gonna keep. But
should we get the slides?
Luke
We'll do a
and Laura,
slideshow.
can you see that?
Oh yeah.
And this was my son's name, Jason Thompson.
Aww.
See, there you go. You laugh, but there was Karen trying to be.
And they would you'd have to get, you know, at Disney where you get fast passes to go on the rides, you had to get a fast pass to go to the actors. So they would only give out so many fast passes. Yeah. So we would be up at 5 a.m. to sit outside, to get in line, to get into Disney, to get into the fast pass line that opened at like 7 or 8 or whatever it was.
There's
wow.
Bradford when he was like 12.
Aww.
That was when you were talking about.
Don't show me all these pictures. Oh, there's Robert.
There's Robert. It was just fun. It was fun.
You're funny.
I know. Well, I have all the. What do? You put them in a box.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like you can leave them out.
At least they're not in
table.
your phone. It was at least before phone, so at least they weren't just in the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You have all this stuff. So anyway, we will figure out something really cool to do with that script.
Yep. And we'll have to do this again sometime. This was a lot of fun.
This was so much fun.
Guys, this was fun. Thanks for inviting us. We had a good
Skype
time.
in from home.
Did I lose you? Are you sleeping now?
I'm looking at the snow.
She wants to go play in the snow.
All right. Thanks,
we'll talk
guys.
later. Bye, ladies. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was a fun
I could have talked to them for 5 more hours.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to at some point.
Everything that they said was just, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Right. They had experienced everything.
And they definitely have a lot more conversations and stories to tell. I mean,
yes, they've met everybody.
Just about, yeah. And how awesome is it so Colleen actually approached us and said, hey, I have a script that would probably be a fun giveaway.
Right. Which is so super generous. Because again, if I had it, I don't know that I could be that nice.
Well, Karen's not parting with hers.
Right.
She has one too.
Well, that's good. If we each had one, maybe we would do the same thing.
Exactly.
We could still share.
Exactly. So we are recording this entire episode a couple weeks ahead of the actual 100th episode. So I don't know at this very second exactly how we're going to run the giveaway, but we're going to have it figured out by the 100th episode.
Yeah.
So be paying attention to either Pier 54 podcast or Hot Flashes and Cool Topics for more information. You can find both of our podcasts on, well, obviously you're listening to ours, so you found it, but you can also find theirs on all your favorite podcast players, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So join us on Monday whenever we do our weekly recap,
Have a good weekend.
and we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.